episode 85. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hov 76 from Resolute, and that's it. There's nobody else. It's just us. And I'm surprised I even made it, because I've had a sore throat the last few days, and I was like, am I going to be able to talk enough? But I feel pretty all right now. But Hov, how are you feeling? How's your week?
I'm surprised I even made it, since I fell asleep again.
Since you were asleep 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, shout out apology to Wilson, Sam, Spiffy, and Papa Bear, because I was like, hey, I gotta go do something, go ahead and play a game without me. And then I did it, and then I sat down for a minute, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up at like 9:30 to like the rest of the podcast not coming. And then maybe like internally I just gave up, because then I just fell back asleep. And I woke up at like 9:52. And I was like, yeah, we're going to be a little late, Lego. I fell asleep. And he was like, you were just typing like 12 minutes ago. And I was like, well, I fell back asleep.
Literally, you hit that point where normally you would be like, I just give up, I give up. But you like actually internally went there, and
yeah,
with all of you.
I physically gave up. Like, but no, other than that, I mean, gaming-wise, it's been a good week. Outside of gaming,
WARMIND.
It's been a rough
WARMIND
week,
is here.
What's WARMIND?
I don't.
Is that like? Is that a God of War sequel?
No, it's a thing for PUBG. You haven't heard about that?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I haven't played PUBG today. We might have to do. I am having a little bit of PUBG withdrawal.
I haven't played PUBG in days because WARMIND is out, and I'm loving it right now. And for me, like, we'll get into it more, but it's the perfect thing that I think I needed from Destiny right now, and we can get into why that is. And I'm curious to hear, like, from our viewers, you know, and from other streamers as it gets going, especially once the raid out and you kind of get an idea for everything that's included.
Well, you're not going to hear from any streamers tonight.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's just me and you.
Oh, well, no, I know. I just meant as streamers and YouTubers as like it comes out, you know, so. Yeah.
But no, it's been really good. Part of me, like, I knew I was tired, and I was just telling you this before the show started. I wanted to come home and take a nap after work, except I wanted to make sure I got through the story and did just some more side stuff and saw a little bit what the grind was like.
Yeah.
So I did that first, and then I ate, and then I played some more, and then I was just dead. DED dead.
Well, since you're alive right now and talking, let's talk about WARMIND and the story that we have here. We're just going to like jump into it, like from the, I think, you know, basically that's where we're going to land tonight is on WARMIND as a whole. And no, we're not.
I'm probably going to just talk about Graviton Lance for like an hour and a half, I think.
Oh, that's where this podcast is going.
This is the Graviton Lance podcast.
Okay, because are we setting down all the vigilance wings from here on out?
I was never a disgusting vigilance wing user in the first place.
Oh, okay, so it's just me.
Just you, yeah.
Okay. Well, before I do want to talk about the exotic reworks, because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. But first, I know you played the story. I played the story. What were your first impressions of it?
The very first thing.
Oh, wait. I'm not even gonna let you say that yet, because I gave my, like, you know, it's kind of what I needed right now. But I didn't really describe anything else about my general feelings. I just want to do a general overview. Like, we played WARMIND. What's your impressions right now as far as an expansion? It's like hardly like a very short impression, but just general impressions so far. What are you feeling?
Am I allowed to say it now?
Yeah.
Oh, because you cut me off 12 seconds.
Well, I cut you off on the story. I'm just saying just general impressions overall, not just story.
It's funny because I was one of the people who I expected it to be short. I didn't expect it just content-wise to be very long as far as like story missions and everything.
Yeah.
It was shorter than I thought. I texted you earlier. It was because I finished the mission where you killed Zol.
Yeah.
And I went to eat. And then I was thinking, like, that's like the last one, right? So I texted you and I was like, is that the last mission? You were like, yep. So, like, I'm not, like, mad or upset because I didn't expect much in terms of that type of longevity of it. but I feel like there's a lot more to do outside of the main story. But first impressions, like I said, the main story coming from someone who was like, guys, it's not going to be very long, don't expect much, was still surprisingly short to me. Like I said, I'm not mad, I'm not disappointed. I'm just a little surprised it was as short as it was.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm in the same boat as you. I was like, oh, what? Wait, what is that? Was that just it?
Yeah,
like,
maybe
that was
just
the
like
thing?
1 or 2 missions more. Maybe.
Yeah. And then after that, but after that is when I was like, oh, there's still a lot to do. Like, I still have this thing. I have that quest. I have like all these side missions. Also, I have like no concept of like this map and where I am in it. Whereas Mercury, when we got to Mercury on the last expansion, it was like, okay, here's, the circle. This is the edge of the circle, and that's it. And, you got the infinite forest, but that's pretty much it, whereas this one, like, it feels like similar, maybe not as big, but similar to like the Plague Lands in Rise of Iron. Like, it's like, oh, this area, and I don't have any concept of like how to get to each place. And like after even finishing the story, I'm like, wow, I have a lot to explore still. And especially once you realize there's stuff hidden out that you have to find, which I know some people have already found all the things they need for some of the exotic quests and stuff that you get. But for me, like, I'm still like, I kind of went and played a little bit of everything. I didn't just do everything there was to do PvE wise right away. I was like, I went and played some Crucible, and
right.
We went and played private matches the other night because that's available now. And so overall, even though the original story was short, just there's so much out there. Our grind is still so far ahead of us. We're all at pretty low light level. I mean, there's a few select people who are playing nonstop who have figured out how to get their light level up, doing all the raids and everything. And then also just having ranked around also is like, oh, wow, like this is going to take forever, but it's going to be fun.
Or you could get it. You could have it done already, and well, at least have Redrix's Claymore already.
Oh, do some people have it? I assumed some people do.
It took about 12 hours. It was 86 games, no losses.
Wow. That's impressive. But yeah, that makes sense that if you grind the crap out of it, you can get to that. But even after Redrix's Claymore, there's still 2 more ranks to the top rank, and each time you go up, it like significantly is further to the next one.
Oh, is it really? Do they get?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a long grind, because I remember we'll get into ranked more. Let's stick on the story first. We'll come back to ranked, but it's gonna take a while.
The one thing though, like you were saying, like with all the other stuff to do, it's almost like a false short story in a way, because like you finish what has the main storyline and those symbols, those missions. But like as soon as you do that, there's a like the blue quest that pops up, and that's still stuff involving Anna Bray and some of the stuff that happens. So like, even though it's not that same Zol storyline, it's still new story. It's not the main campaign, but it's still new story. And I think that's one thing that's kind of I can't even say it's important to consider, because I still expect this to be short. It still is fairly short. But it's just not one little storyline. There's like you said, there's other little side things to do that give you some info and some snippets and whatnot. So it's just a weird setup to it, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of deceiving how, it was kind of that way with The Taken King. The Taken King was a longer story than this, granted. But once you finish Taken King, you like realize like, oh, dang, I have a lot to do. And it's kind of a similar thing here. It's just more like, House of Wolves Link story first, and then...
Which is about right, because I mean, this is like the same. This is like Destiny 2's House of Wolves.
Exactly.
Which, as we'll get to, is also the place in Destiny 1 where things kind of started to take steps towards what we wanted them to be, I think.
Yeah.
So.
For sure, especially in the Crucible, which is kind of what I was hoping for with ranked and the correlation between them bringing Trials in House of Wolves and ranked in Warmind. I feel like that sort of thing is happening. We're kind of getting the things that we asked for, so I'm looking forward to it. The grind anyway. With the story, I want to stick with that for a second and dig it into a little bit. I guess we're gonna do slightly spoilery things here. If you haven't finished the story, maybe just skip like 5-10 minutes ahead, because I do want to talk about some of the missions a little bit, because I saw you shared a tweet that somebody else had put online that was like best story yet for Destiny or something like that. It wasn't you didn't type it, you just shared, somebody else had said that online. No, you didn't?
I don't know,
Oh.
man. I'm half asleep most of my life.
Well, I saw somebody say that, and I was like, I mean, it's good, like, but I want to dive so much deeper into the things that they talked about. Like, there were really interesting characters introduced, and they just all went away really fast. And I was like, man, this was really interesting. And somebody was pointing out on Reddit, like, they were like, can somebody explain to me, like, what the heck happened in that scene in the middle where you get buried in the deep, and then you come out, and the ghost is like, okay, we're fine, let's go. And you'll have no idea what happened. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was weird. It was interesting though, because I really liked that sequence where Zol comes down, and then, or Yol, I don't know how you say it, and then after that the other boss comes out. There are two main boss encounters, and one of them, giant worm god, the other one is just that giant hive looking vampire thing. I don't even know
The like big wizard witch.
Yeah, exactly. And that one was really interesting. Like it like scared the crap out of me when I first saw it, because I was like, oh, that guy looks really bad, you know, which is good. I miss having that feeling. But then just weird stuff happens and everybody dies so quick. It's like, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like, you know, because Oryx died and he was still alive in his own realm. And I feel like something similar happened here, but you never see that happen, where like Oryx, you saw him do something, like put his sword down and like didn't act defeated, whereas the worm god kind of did. I don't know. Just the whole thing felt like it wasn't really over to me.
Well, yeah, the Marvel spoilers here. Yeah,
big Marvel spoilers.
The Zol did the Infinity War death at the end there. Just kind of like faded away, like crumbled and faded away. I don't know if you noticed that. That's what I thought of.
Oh.
Like every one of those memes that's out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what Zol did. It was like Bungie knew.
That's weird.
Yeah, like it definitely seems dead, as opposed to, you're right.
Exactly.
Like, Oryx was, but at least I personally, I never expected Zol to be like the raid boss or anything. I would assume it would be someone different.
Yeah,
right?
I still thought
we're going back to the Leviathan.
Yeah, I think it's going to be someone different too. I will say, like, despite me feeling like, oh, really, that's it, I also felt like they were good fights for what they were. I think just in our minds, because we had Oryx as such a big extreme thing, it's weird to have something like a worm god that, you know, is one of the things, unless maybe we're getting the lore completely wrong here. Like, the worms were what powered, one of them is what powered Oryx, and like, if this is one of those things that powered Oryx, you would think it would be really strong, but I don't know. It just didn't seem. Also, we're really strong at this point too, though. So
with
maybe
Rasputin and stuff.
Yeah, Rasputin helped too. Like, we did have equipment from him that helped us defeat it, which is pretty awesome.
What's up with him though, man?
He's freaking
like the end. He was pretty much like, I'm tired of you guys being little bitches. I do what I want. Seriously, he was like, I'm going to protect the universe on my own
Well,
terms.
I was worried for a second he was going to go all Age of Ultron on us, because he was like, and Zavala says, what have we done? You know, and I was like, oh, crap, you know? But then Anna's like, at the end, if you listen to her when you go back afterwards, she's like, I should be afraid, but I'm not. You know, like, because she has this weird relationship with Rasputin, and so...
Well, here's my thing. If Rasputin was being such a, like, hard ass, you know, like, I see all, I will cover past the galaxy and beyond, and I will protect us, and no threats will blah blah. Why wasn't he like, oh, and since I'm on the topic, there's giant fucking shadowy pyramid ships on their way?
Yeah, can't see that far, can you?
Yeah, fuck off, Rasputin.
You know what he reminds me of when you were just saying that? You reminded me of that speech. You know, the guy from, comic book readers will know this much better than I do, but the guy from...
Stanley.
No. Good guess. No, the guy in the comics, it's like anti-heroes, the
Venom.
Watchmen, the big blue guy, you know,
Dr.
like
Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan's like, I know what's best, I'm gonna do this, you know, like that. He kind of reminds me of Rasputin a little bit right now.
I mean, in that vein, yeah, he's kind of like all powerful, kind of can do what he wants and thinks that he knows everything.
You know, theories of I don't know. It also, the ending kind of makes me question, because there have been theories about Rasputin being the one who made the Traveler the way that it is, and like made him stay, or it's whatever the Traveler is. And but if Rasputin is just now gaining free will, then I guess that isn't possible. Or is Rasputin having free will? Does that just mean like it's not just about like I was ordered to protect humanity and I had to do exactly what I needed to do that, and every step of the process, and now he has the free will to like not protect humanity if he wants to. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I'm also curious, like, you know, because in any medium like this, whether it be comics or video games or whatever, like, power levels of different characters and entities kind of vary to make things fit. Do you know what I mean? Like, every time we fight someone, we're pretty much told that they're universe-destroying and all-powerful, right?
Yeah.
So, like, and let's be completely honest. Let's take Oryx versus, what was the House of Wolves guy? Not Tannix. Skolas.
Skolas, yeah.
There's, like, no comparison there, right? Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Just taking those two. But so my question just becomes, like, how powerful is Rasputin? Like,
I feel like he's freaking really powerful.
Right.
Like,
and supposedly, if, you know, we've talked about that, you know, maybe he had something to do with, you know, the Traveler being kind of disabled or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if he's that powerful, like, what do we even need to be around for now? Like,
yeah.
The Traveler is what powers us, and we go stop these giant things. Well, if Rasputin was like, fuck you, Traveler, go to sleep, ho. Like, can't he, like, just take care of whatever now?
Well, I think that's the story of Destiny. Like, yes, in, like, if you think out the logic, that could be right, but at the same time, the story of Destiny is that all these other things that think they're the best are wrong. We're the best. That's basically the story every time, you know?
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's any hero story, right? Like, you overcome whatever it may be. But still, it's just like, where is Rasputin? Like, can he just do literally, like, he thinks he can do whatever he wants, right? He thinks that he's just kind of like the shit. Is he right? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we've helped him out a lot when he seemed defenseless, but that was also not completely him. That was like, according to this story now, it was like satellites of him,
like
or
remnants, fragments, whatever. Yeah.
It's interesting. But so here's one thing that the story did really do for me that I wanted to bring up, is that even though it was short, it got me super interested in these stories, like in, you know, the Worm God, in that other vampire looking wizard thing, in Lord.
Why do you keep saying vampire?
He floats around with like a cloak, like it looks like he's got a cloak on.
Like I wish anyone listened to this on iTunes could see Lego's vampire impersonation there. So does every wizard or whatever witch.
I know. It just looks different. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
He was just like a wizard or witch that like ate too much. Like, he looked like he put on a few pounds. He was a little chubby.
That's fair. And he can send you to the deep, apparently. Or is that Zol who did that? I guess that's Zol.
We already killed that thing. Who was that? Okay. I missed his name. Do you know?
I can't remember. I read it a little while ago. I can't remember. Okay. But it was like started with an A something.
Adam.
And sure, Warlock. No, that's not it. There's something else. Oh, the story. Okay, so what the story did do, even though it was short, it got me super interested in all of these things, and Anna Bray, and, you know, Clovis Bray, everything about that place on Mars. It made me want to be like, okay, I want to dive in to learn the secrets about these things. Whereas some stories in Destiny have kind of been like, oh yeah, that was interesting, I don't really care as much to like dig into it. Like some of like Gaul's stuff even, or Osiris's stuff, I wasn't super interested. They told me stuff about it, but I didn't want to like dig into it too much. Whereas this, I'm like super invested. Like, I want to know like what all the little things hidden throughout this planet are going to tell me about it. Like, and all the things that I found, like I've only found like one scannable thing so far going. Of course, I'm like very much shooting everything at this point still, but I did at one point I went into a cave, and multiple people probably found this like I know already, but just for me personally, I went into a cave and there's a ship there, and I'm like, oh, the little scanning thing went off, and I was like, what's this? And I scan it, and it says it's the crow's ship, and he's like, what is he doing on Mars? Like, and people had said they saw his ship somewhere else, so I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh, I'm into this. What's going on? And now I want to find more scannable objects, and it's just got me really invested. Everything that I'm finding so far is like interesting to the story of that planet, that area, Clovis Bray, what's going on. I want to know the things. So I'm excited to read more of the lore and finish more of the collectibles that you have to get afterwards, because there's a good bit of them, it seems like. I know there's only 45 of those data things you open, but it seems like there's
45, only 45.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, who was it? Like Spiffy we were talking to last night, like he had 44, and he's like, I gotta get the 45th one, and so like there are people who have gotten a lot of it already, and I'm sure if I was focused on that part of it, I would have, but I don't know. I'm having fun with the story, all the lore behind everything, so that's where I'm at with it all.
I just like running it like my own pace, and I almost think it's a good thing in the long run. And I said this a while ago, that we didn't really want to grind Destiny 2 and have kind of gotten away from it, because now coming back, like, as much as I love it, I don't feel like I'm ever going to go back into it like I did in early D1, where I come home and I play it until I go to bed, like, every day. And that's not a bad thing. I think we were kind of trained to get other games in there, because now, like I said, I still play Overwatch, I still play PUBG, I've still been playing God of War, so I could play that for a few hours, get a few things done, feel like I accomplished something, leave, and come back and kind of stretch out, everything. Also, Bagu in chat said the wizard is Nokris. I didn't see who it was. Because I knew people said Nokris was in there. It's Oryx's disgraced son. Which makes sense because, Crota was all big and bad, and like I said, Nokris got fat. So, like...
Wait, is this the guy who, like, was denied, like, he wanted a worm, but, like, they wouldn't give it to him? And
I don't want to say that, but I know he was, like, they banished him for heresy. But I guess on somewhere, there was, like, a statue that on one side of Oryx was Crota and the other side was Nokris. Like,
that's interesting.
Which is what I know people had been pissed about, because you have Crota and Oryx were both, like, the big boss of an expansion, and so Nokris should be, like, that same power level as Crota, at least, because he's, like, a Hive Prince.
Yeah, I get you, but he's also a disgraced one, like, not worthy, so... But I do see if they're, like, making statues of him and stuff. Either way, like, I felt like it was menacing when I went again. It wasn't, like, Crota menacing, but it was still menacing.
Yeah, I soloed it, I mean...
Yeah. So... I guess next up, like, outside of story, are, like, the activities and stuff that you have to do afterwards. We kind of talked a little bit about, like, things to chase and stuff. I'm really digging all that. I still haven't done... There's, like, a ton of adventures that you have afterwards that still have more story. Still need to do those as well. But I did play a few of the escalation protocol things just because I'm just going by. And I'm like, oh, this guy's, got it going. I want to try it out. And, I'm like 342 light or something ridiculously low,
And all those people have exclamation points next to their name and just one-shot you.
Yeah, and so it's ridiculous. But they would start it at rank 1, other blueberries just like, I just want to see what this is, and they don't know either. So a bunch of us low-level light people are jumping in there, don't have any idea what we're doing, and... we get slaughtered the first time. We're like, didn't even come close to the timer. And then we do it again and we get a little bit closer. And I'm just like, more people keep coming in the thing. And I'm like, oh, we got like, 8 people now or whatever. And we just keep doing it. And then we beat the first one. And we're like all lower light level. And we beat the first like part of it. And I was like on a high. I was like, whoa, we did it. Oh my gosh, And so it has that sort of feel to it. Like once you kind of know how it works, you kind of know where things are, and you get your just like a raid or like a a trials map or something where you get your locations down and everything, you start to know it better and better, and it feels like that, like you can feel yourself progressing even if your light level isn't raising, your strategy is getting better. and get through that first one. And then we got to the second one and wiped it. But then we got through the first one and second one again and got to the boss down to like, 25%. And we still couldn't do it. Like we never got past that one, but it was still like I could see our team getting better and better. And that was just me soloing it with some other blueberries. And if I had people with me, I'm sure we could have done it better. But it was nice to feel like it. Like at first I was worried, like, is escalation protocol going to be too hard after the way, everybody who went to the event was like, yeah, we told them to make it even harder and it was already hard. I was like, oh crap, like what's this going to be like? But really, I like the way it feels. I like that it's hard. Don't give me that face. I like that they made it harder, like from the event.
Just say difficult.
It's difficult, yeah.
No, and I think it's good because I mean we're way lower leveled than we're going to be by the end. Like if that's an end game piece of content, why should you be able to do it real easy right now? It should be hard, and as you gain an extra 40 light, it should get easier.
Exactly, yeah.
Quickly, I just thought of something that I really hope happens someday. I hope that for some reason you and I play the mission where you fight Nokris.
Mm-hmm.
Or anybody. But since you're here, it's going to be you.
Yeah, okay.
And you die. And maybe even better if I'm streaming. So when you die, I could say, Lego, come on, man, what are you doing? You're embarrassing me in front of the wizard. I want to say that.
My gosh. No, you need an area with 2 wizards. So you can say you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. That's what you need. You need a warlock. Wizard. No, you need a warlock on your team, and then you need to be fighting Nokris, and then
why would I need to be a warlock? I feel like a Titan would be better.
No, you're like someone on your team needs to be a warlock other than me, so that way you can say embarrassing me in front of the wizards. But that's what he says.
Are you sure?
I've seen it 3 times. That's what he says.
I don't believe you.
That's what he says. I didn't catch it till the 3rd time, actually, either.
Okay.
So yeah, escalation protocol. I
haven't really done it, so I don't have much to say.
Yeah, I mean, I just really like that it is what they promised they would deliver, like some mystery and some like something that they give you up front that you can't do, that you can see yourself doing better every time you run through that area, because it's kind of always going. And I like here's something that I really like, and I didn't think about it till just now, but with the Rise of Iron one, the Forge, Archon's Forge. So that one was its own isolated area away from the public space, and it was so annoying because no one would ever know if you're doing it or not. You had to specifically go in there, and sometimes there weren't people there. And on this one, like this version of this event, it's in both of the public spaces that you go to that have stuff going on, and it's where you walk through, it's where you spawn in, and so you'll know immediately if somebody's doing it or not, and you don't have to go and run and check a certain area. And not only that, you could be casually just doing something else. Whereas Archon's Forge, you had to specifically go there to that thing and know you were going to be doing that thing. Court of Oryx was a little, more open, but this is the best it's been, in my opinion. This is like out in the open. It can range in difficulty. You can help out even if you can't really help out that much. You can be a part of it. Like, it's the perfect, so far, we'll see when we get later.
The Vault of Glass.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we love that. And being able to help out.
Don't speak for me.
Okay.
Don't say
I love that.
I loved it too.
I meant we as a community, not necessarily you.
You don't speak for the community, sir.
You into the community, so.
No, I agree. It's cool, and that's why that's the only reason I even knew about that the guys were real difficult and had like the red whatever, and they one shot you, because I did one of the the quest, the blue quest symbol after the main story. And I was like running, and I was like, oh, here's some guys. And I was like, why the fuck are these guys one-shotting me? And then I looked, and the waypoint was taking me a different direction. And I was like, oh, this is escalation protocol.
Yeah, that's what happened to me whenever we got to the rank. Because at first, rank 1, I was like, okay, I'm all right, and then it got to the rank 2, and I was like, nope, I'm not okay. I'm getting one shot by everything. This is terrible.
I don't know what rank that one was. I didn't pay attention, but like I said, they had red things next to their health bar. That's awesome. And they were just everyone was one-shotting me. Hey, I was able to kill them.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
but they couldn't kill you.
Oh, they one-shot me.
It sounded like that's where you're going with that. So something from the activities and from the story, we got now I'm forgetting the name of it. The weapon that Rasputin gives you, the something. What's it called? The thing you throw and you slam.
Come on, Lego.
Can you not remember it either?
I
you
can.
know it and you're just hiding it from me? Just say
because it's been, for some reason, this name keeps getting used in every like popular thing.
Valkyrie.
There you go.
Because I was thinking of Thor and
and God of War.
Oh,
because
really?
Norse mythology up there too.
Yeah. So Norse mythology all over the place, but that was really fun. I was like, another weapon, whatever. Like, because in House of Wolves they introduced a similar thing. They introduced the cannon thing. And I was like, yeah, this is, fine in House of Wolves, but the Valkyrie's like the best new fun. Like, I think it's better than the axe. This is like, it feels really good. Like better than the axe from Rise of Iron is what I'm referring to. But I love that you can throw it. You can charge it and throw it, or you can slam it.
Oh, I forgot you can charge it.
Dude, yeah, you can charge it. I didn't realize till my second playthrough I picked it up, public event or so. I love that it comes up in public events too. That's really fun. So yeah, I love having that thing. I wish it lasted like a little bit longer in public events and stuff. In the story mission, it lasts a while, but in public events, it's like, come on, give me more than just one slam.
So powerful, I guess.
It is really strong. So, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And I was gonna say something, and I don't remember what it was.
I always worry that Bungie, they hype up stuff really like a lot, and I was afraid that the Valkyrie wasn't gonna live up to it. They're like, this new thing, it's the funnest weapon we've ever made, it's my favorite, and I was like, is it really though?
Well, to be fair, I think from this DLC in general, they really changed their strategy on kind of marketing it.
Yeah,
it seemed much more subdued in them hyping it up, and is better. Now, I don't know how much of it is we're excited. We think it's better because they didn't hype it up, or if they did, like, kind of under-promise, over-deliver, as opposed to vice versa.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, you know how many times they've done 3 or 4 streams, and this is the best thing we've ever done, and there's, like, Prison of Elders, how there were so many things, and you were going to be able to play it forever, and it was once a week, and then you were done in whatever 4 weeks.
Yeah. I think you're right.
This time they didn't really do all that.
Yeah, I think, and not only that, they didn't even show who the boss was to this whole thing until they hinted at it at the very last trailer they put off the day before or the day of the release. It showed, you could see like the thing crashing through like a hallway, and you're like, oh, that's what it is. And then like Cosmo or Dylan tweeted out something, I can't remember who, but that was the only hint before we actually played it, which was great. Every other expansion, you knew exactly who you were going to face. You knew exactly what the story was behind them, what they look like. You knew everything. And this one, you had no idea. And that made that last boss battle like really significant when you see it in its full form. And I don't know, or even the first time it makes its appearance after what is his name?
Who? Not Chris?
Nokris, yeah. I was gonna say Nosferatu or whatever that
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, yeah. There we go. Same thing.
Stanley.
That's the correct answer.
One thing I do think on that kind of same vein, and maybe even a segue coming. I think one thing that's really important, especially if we have anyone still listening to the show, that no. Listen. If we have anyone still listening to the show that maybe didn't get the season pass, and so they were kind of on the fence about coming back for this or buying it, or even if you do, and whatever the case may be, if you're not kind of on board where we are with being excited about this, I think one of the things that's really important to make known is that really the most disappointing, and I'm saying this as a positive, which is funny, but the most disappointing part of this update, version 1.2, is the part that you had to pay for. All this other really cool shit, even if you don't get this DLC, it's just quality of life game stuff.
That's true.
The only thing that you need to pay for at this point are the story missions, pretty much.
Yeah.
You still get the new maps. You still get, I mean, if you do the playlist, you know, not in private matches, but you still get private matches. You still get all the weapon changes, the exotic weapon changes, all that stuff. Like, all this stuff that we're going to talk about here soon that we're really, really excited about just comes if you have the game.
Yeah.
So it's really a good time to get back into it, honestly.
Yeah, I would say, too, another thing they did right with the man, I just feel like their marketing was really on point this time. And I was so hesitant to believe it. Like people were like, "Oh, these exotic weapon changes are gonna be awesome," and I was like, "I don't know. Like, can I really like?" I feel like everything's been so hyped before. I was like, "I don't know." And then with the, you know, even the Valkyrie weapon we were talking about, or the biggest one, Escalation Protocol, they kept talking about Escalation Protocol, had a whole video about it, and I was like, "Is it really gonna be like that fun or that interesting or that in-depth?" And so far it's delivered. You know, obviously we haven't made it to the top, and I don't know, I haven't talked to anybody who has. I'm sure there are YouTube videos out there of people who are doing it, but
I believe the movie of the week winner, I just watched some of it, but I'm assuming they were doing it, so I'm assuming the gist of it was they beat it.
Yeah. So, you know, it's delivering so far on difficulty. For me, as someone who's like an above average player, like not above average in skill, I'm not even saying that, I'm just saying above average in time played. Like, I've been sick the past few days too, and so I've been playing probably more than usual, and still, like, it's way out of reach for me. And it's just everything that they've been bragging about, I've been like, yeah, this is great, this is awesome. And so do you want to jump into, I guess maybe let's talk about the grind, since it's a little related to, I don't know, we'll talk about that maybe after we get to.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we can do that, because all I really have to say is I'm only at like 340. I haven't, like, you know, there's a million. Dado has a great video on the best ways to level your first, second, third character, whatever order you want to do it, to go all the way up. But I haven't gotten to that point, so all I can tell you is, yeah, it is slower. You do have to take some time, and I'm okay with that.
Exactly. Yeah, that was going to be my one point about it too, is it looks like, you know, from both a PvP, you know, we talked briefly about the rank thing and we'll get more into it, but it looks like that's going to take some time, but also like PvE side and just ranking your light level up and getting the weapons from all the different things. You know, things have specific, like Vanguard has its own like rank up system now, just like Crucible, where it takes like, I think you have to turn in, it's 50 or 100, I can't remember, it's a lot of rank ups or packages turned in before you can get the final Vanguard ship.
Who do you turn them into? Is that what you go to Zavala for?
Zavala, yeah.
Okay.
If you go to Zavala, you can preview everything, and the final thing is an exotic ship that kind of looks like the OG ship, but like real decked out. And so definitely like go check it out, because it looks like a ton to grind for if you love doing strikes, you know, and really want to get the PvE stuff. That, so there's grind built in that sense. There's grind built in weapons to chase, specific things to do to get different armor sets or different weapons, you know, like Escalation Protocol, and then stuff on that planet, on Mars, just in general. And then there's the grind for your light level too. And light level, like you just said, is going to take a long time. The soft cap's at 340, which we're not used to. We're used to like a soft cap much higher than that. It feels like old Destiny, it would be a soft cap at 360 or 365 is what it would be.
You mean old Destiny 2?
Old Destiny 2, my bad. Yeah, not old Destiny. But yeah, at 340, and they handicapped where you get lots of light from like what is it? Your trials and raid or clan stuff. Like, there's certain ones that you used to get a ton of light level from that aren't as effective at raising your light level. It's mainly milestones, really, are the biggest thing.
Well,
and
trials and raids, I believe, are still like the biggest ones.
Okay, trials and raid then. Are you talking about the engrams that you get from your clan on those? Or are you talking about
like actually doing them?
Exactly. Yeah, those are still great. But other than that, because trials isn't out yet, I'm not a big raider. And so it's milestones or, you know, waiting for trials to come up. Or if you get a random exotic engram drop, that's a way you can do it without doing those things. It's just going to take you a really long time, which I personally like, that it's possible to do it without doing in-game stuff, but it was going to take you forever. Like it would take, if you weren't doing in-game stuff, it's going to take a long time.
Well, the good thing, let me jump back one thing because I just wanted to ask something real fast. Didn't Zavala already have his own rank up thing going on with like?
So he did for ornaments.
That's
for a
all
little while.
he had.
He had just ornaments.
Because I thought he always had like, isn't that where you got to pick like the 3 Vanguard weapons, like Origin Story, Nightshade.
That was during the story. That's
right,
different.
But like I thought he had his own thing. Like you turned in tokens from strikes and stuff to him.
Yeah, you can get your own stuff from him, but I'm talking about he has a unique path, like how Crucible rank has like at rank 3, this thing becomes available for you. At rank, this, you get this certain shader or this emblem or this ship or this sparrow. So if you go and talk to Zavala, he has his own things now. And it looks very extensive to the extent that like Crucible is extensive. PvE seems extensive too.
You're extensive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like I'm talking extensively right now, but yeah, so there's a lot of stuff available for both PvE and PvP, and the grind looks real, but it looks fun too. It looks like I'm not, and like you said, I'm not like, there's a lot of people right now who are grinding it out hard, like how can I get the highest light the fastest, and I don't feel that at all, because I also don't feel like I need to raid day 1 though, for the new raid layer. But so for those going for that, they're going all out. But for me, I'm just kind of like you. I'm like, I just want to take it as it comes, just enjoy it. Because it seems like a good grind and it seems fun so far. So I really enjoy it.
One thing, you may feel like you're talking extensively because I'm not interrupting you as much. I feel like lately.
Oh, weird. Why are you doing that? Yeah.
I feel like lately, and while it's been making a point to your point, I feel like I had been interrupting you lately, so I'm kind of trying to shut my mouth.
Oh. Well, on this episode of just the two of us, I give you permission.
Oh. Okay.
Did I just... I don't know. I may regret this.
You may regret this. I might not let you talk for the next half hour. But no, the one thing that's good, because from what I understand, like I said, if you go watch Dado's video, which I recommend for anybody listening, it really gives you like a step-by-step, like, hey, if you really, really, really want to get your highest light, do it this way. If you just want to, like... gradually move up consistently, but not worry about doing things over and over, blah blah blah. Like he lays out a very good path for a first character, second character, so on and so forth. But it still seems, and he said we're assuming Trials, because Trials hasn't come around yet, but we're assuming that would be the PvP equivalent of the raid for the week, like your highest light stuff. And the one thing it seems, he said, raids are your best bet for the highest light stuff right off the bat. You know what I mean? They're going to give you the biggest bump. And assuming Trials. So it's kind of nice, because while I'm with you that I'm not a big raider, I'm more of a PvP person. As I've said on the show many times, like I felt almost forced into that. The way content happened throughout the lifespan of Destiny as a franchise. Because I didn't really care about PvP. I'd only play if I had a friend on with me. For the most part, I played the PvE. And, you used to do your 3 raids a week because you wanted your exotics and you wanted the light level stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it was a reason to play. And the raids were always good. I don't think we've ever had a raid that was bad. Crota had its problems, but, like, they were still interesting. Like, the raid itself as a piece of content has been good. But, like, right now, there was just no reason to play any of them, which is why I haven't really been doing them.
Yeah.
But now, if that is the best way... And it's still, apparently, if you do everything, it's still going to take you a while, unless you're really, really grinding. But if you're doing raids and everything, it's a slow grind. So I feel like I have a reason to do my raids again. Like, if people are like, hey, looking for, in Rezo Discord, hey, we want to do a raid tonight. Like, I enjoy that content. I enjoyed them when I did them in D2. I just, once you do it, if there's no reason to, there's no reason to,
Yeah.
And so I'm happy that it seems like there's going to be a reason, at least for a while, to do some of the raid and raid layers again.
Yeah,
weekly.
That makes sense.
And so, I mean, I'm looking forward to that, because I always enjoyed them, but because they are a big time commitment, especially early on, if I didn't need to do it, then I wasn't going to do it, So
Yeah, No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think we'll see a lot more people like you were saying. And even when I was playing, I had multiple people invite me to raids within the last 2 days just because they want to raid. They want to get their light level up. And that's cool. Like people wanting to do those activities that are really fun, really interesting. And we don't see them very much as, non-really heavy PvE players.
And really, to be honest, like really original. It's one thing we talked about, like raids are generally, World of Warcraft, MMO style big things. Like there's really aren't any other first person shooters with raids like Destiny has. So
yeah,
they've always been like the shining star of Destiny content.
Yeah.
Just like you're the shining star of the RezoCast podcast.
Thank you, Hov. I appreciate that. Well, I think this will also, to your point, also get people playing Trials more too, because there's not really a reason to do that for a lot of people. And we'll get to it in the TWAB in a second. They listed a few more reasons, but even just for light level, Crucible players are going to want to find, go to Trials to get that light level up before they can do some PvE activities, maybe to make it easier. So I'm looking forward to that, to have more people, because I love playing Trials. And really, I feel like Ranked has helped me with some of that recently, because I played, enough to get to rank 2 already and then some. And so it's been really fun getting to play basically Trials on so many different maps with the no radar and everything, because it's comp and it feels like Trials basically. And another thing that makes it feel like Trials is having I'm kind of transitioning here into Crucible talk, but having the 5 win streak really makes every game feel like it's worth a little something more. Even if you're playing for Valor, you have this streak. And so it's really cool to have that incentive to like, well, I don't want to lose this. Like my team actually cares, at least a little bit, even if you're playing Valor. And if you're playing comp, it like really feel you're going for that rank. You're going to go down if you don't win, and you might get that win streak bonus if you keep winning. So there's just a lot at stake, and it makes it feel more like Trials, which worries me for like the popularity of Trials.
That was gonna be my question for you.
Yeah, because it almost like feels like there's more at stake in comp now than there is in Trials, unless in Trials they put some really good carrots at the end of the stick, which I know there's some coming. I saw it in the TWAB, and we'll get into that. But right now comp feels really good, and it's really fun. I'm sure it'll get more fun as it gets more fleshed out, like as it goes on and people's rank starts spreading out a little bit more and the climb becomes more apparent. Because right now it's at the beginning and everybody's just finishing PvE in the story, and it feels like the really great players and the really bad players are all in the same rank. They're all kind of playing together. But as a slightly above average player playing with some really good people, it was really fun, just going through there, watching the rank go up.
Well, I was going to say, like last night when we played, 2 games? First game we won pretty easily. The second game, like I would say all 4 of us were average to above average. Like none of us are bad by any means. And whether it was just, none of us have played too much. Like I haven't played too much lately. It was Dewey's first time back in a long time. Yeah. But that second team, like, shit on us.
Yeah. Well, that being said too, like there's a difference between like you said, coming in for 2 games after some of those people not playing for a really long time, but then the night before, like or I guess that was 2 nights ago at this point. But I played with I think it was Windler, Papa Bear, and
Fate.
Gabe, HTX.
And Papa Bear told me Fate was in that group. What a liar.
No. Fate was no, Gabe did really freaking good though. And we only lost 1 game the whole time. And went up to rank 2 and didn't lose till like our 2nd or 3rd game in rank 2. And that was our only loss, and then we kind of stopped after that. But so yeah, what my point was is playing with a team from the beginning and knowing the way your team plays and having the strategies, because it's way more complicated than Trials when you've got so many different maps, so many different game modes, and you kind of have to know.
It's like rotating maps on Trials. And
you have to know what your teams do for each map and what your callouts are and what your strategies are. You have to know that team, and so comp, I don't know. It's going to play out really interesting as time goes on, I feel like. But so far, I think it's really fun.
I guess I was just speaking with my comment about we only played 2 games. We won 1. I was just speaking more to when you mentioned that, like, right now, everybody's around the same level. So you have, like, people who in 3 weeks' time are never going to see each other because they're so far away. That was all I was getting at.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you.
But yeah, no, I was going to ask you the same thing. Like, right now, the things that are bringing people, like, there's nothing in Trials, I don't think, that's going to bring people back to Destiny right now, right? Trials specifically.
Yeah.
So, like, Ranked will and might, and you'll see some people move over. So I'm kind of curious what Ranked will do to the future of Trials for the time being.
I just think they need to make the rewards of Trials more interesting, in the way you get them, like stuff like the Scarab emblem in D1, that thing to chase going flawless, like, you know, that's super rare, like that kind of stuff is going to be the in-game stuff that gets people playing Trials, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? On top of that,
I don't know what. Tell me.
You can't get Trials gear from your clan Trials engram anymore. It drops stuff at higher light, but you don't get Trials stuff.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, still, how long does it really take you to get all the Trials stuff? A couple weeks?
Well, we don't know. We've never played it where you're not just getting it for free from the clan. So,
but I mean, even picking it up from like the Spire or whatever, because you can get some like 1 win, right?
I don't know. How long did it take you to get that pulse rifle that you were going for like 5 weeks? It took a while.
That
right?
that was the first week. I said, you know what? Next week's the last week.
Serious?
Yeah, I was like, next week's the last week. I need to get Darkest Before. We ran 1 character. I went and I got it.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Well, anyway, my point was just like, either way, like, content rewards are gonna run out in Trials. Like, you're gonna get them, and then even if it is, you know, the end game, you know, blah blah blah. Like, they're the same modes on the same maps. I know it's rotating versus fixed, but like Trials was so popular because of, you know, it was that thing, like the do or die end of the line, like this is, you know, this is the PvP experience, like this is what you need to do to win. If you win, you get this gun, you get this and that. Well, I mean, that's just what Ranked became to a point, right? Like, they're kind of fighting for the same space.
They are, but what could they do to Trials to make it different than comp? But, you know, to put it at that, you know, I guess pinnacle spot in Crucible, what could they do to it to put it back in that place?
I don't know, man. That's why I host a podcast and not design video games.
I would, you know, we could be wrong. We haven't seen it played out yet. It's happening this weekend for the first time. But I'm with you. Like, I feel like, you know, comp probably is going to take priority for a while.
Either way, it's going to obviously split some of the player base. I mean, that's just natural.
Yeah.
Oh, natural.
Anything else with Ranked in general? The Valor thing seems pretty good. It seems like it does seem like they've made it accessible and easy for people who, like, even if you're not great at PvP, you can play PvP a lot and still get Valor up to the top. It's going to take longer, but you can still do it. You never go down. You just go up faster, not depending on if you're winning. So it seems like a pretty well-designed system to encourage players who are, you know, whether you're good or not, basically. I don't want to say casual or not casual, because that doesn't even really matter. It's just like, even if you don't feel like you're that good at the Crucible, like, you can still make it in Valor, which is great.
Yeah. The only thing, since we did kind of mention that there's new weapons and stuff, we might as well just, because they didn't say much about them, but they showed them. And
one more thing that I wanted to mention before we move to weapons.
I was given permission to interrupt you.
You were, but now I'm interrupting you.
No,
because it has to do with playlist. So, and this has to do with the rotating playlist is all in Valor, and I really feel like Rumble should be in Glory somehow, or it should have its own or something, because it just doesn't feel right in Valor. Like, it feels like you work so hard to get first place in Rumble, and then you're rewarded with like a little bit of Valor points, and it feels like it should
on the
be
flip
in
side,
Glory.
that's the same reason it's not in Glory, because you don't, like, a win there. Like, you could get second, you could have a great game and finish second, you know what I mean? Like, that's why
I can't remember where it was, if it was in Halo or in Destiny 1 on Destiny Tracker or something. It was like the first 3 get the win and the last 3 get the loss or something like that. And I feel like something like that would work.
Yeah, but whenever you're making something that's, you know, I think you're right, like Destiny Tracker type of thing, or it counted as a win, like for different record books or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about something where you're putting end game rewards and it's this competitive ranked playlist and people want to take it seriously, I just don't think that would go over well.
Well, that's what I want. Okay, so that's my point. I want to take Rumble more seriously, and I think there are people out there that do. Whether it's Valor, Glory, Bungie can figure out the best way to do it. You know, I would just like to take Rumble a little more seriously. And right now it's a rotating playlist. I think a lot of people don't want it in the rotating playlist, and maybe they're going to take a look at all that later. I think that has a lot to do with the problem of it.
I would be okay with it having its own type of thing, but I don't think there's any way to work it into the Glory rankings and make it make sense.
Yeah,
because
I could see that.
No matter how you do wins and losses in it, it's still like then what do the rankings really mean? Like, I ran the competitive playlist, you ran Rumble, we have the same ranking. What is it like? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on differentiating those things. I just wish that it had something.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. That's fine. I don't think you can put it in the Glory playlist. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. What were you gonna say about weapons? You were going somewhere.
I just mentioned, or I was gonna mention. You said that they showed, that we are getting new weapons and stuff for trials, and I figured while we're on this, it's not like there's a huge TWAB anyway. We might as well just cherry pick that out of there.
Let's do it.
They showed 3 or 4 new weapons, and then the new Sparrow, Ghost, and Ship for trials coming. I mean, they look neat. They're the same color scheme and some of the same models. So until I see perks and whatnot, cool. New stuff is cool, but there's nothing that at first glance makes me go, hell yeah, I want that.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing that like really speaks to me other than that submachine gun looks like it's a 600 RPM one, like the old one, which I loved. But yeah, a lot of it is same models and stuff. At least for that ship is like the same model. The shotgun looks, I don't know, it looks a little different. The weapons do, at least, I think. But we'll see how it plays out. I do hope that they have perks on them that are like for Crucible, the way that Trials used to be. So I think that was a big reason to run Trials before. But I gotta sneeze.
Lego's gonna sneeze. Look at the sun, Lego. Look at the sun.
There is no sun. It's dark.
There's always a sun. The sun didn't go out. Just go find it.
Not gonna sneeze. Okay. Yeah. No, weapons. Let's keep going with that. We got to get to these exotic rework stuff because oh my gosh, that was another thing that I didn't think. I was like, they keep hyping this up. Like, is it really gonna feel that good?
Yes.
Is the damage really gonna be that good and kill that quickly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, to get this out of the way real quick, Rat King has been disabled.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say I'm glad that it was disabled, but it's cool to see that they can do that now. That they made that a thing. I think that's big moving forward.
Like disabling it? Is that what you mean?
Because like obviously that's new ability for them because they would have done it to
the
whatever the laser
beam.
tag gun was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool that they found a way to work that in and do that.
Yeah, no, that is cool. And I think they took it really seriously because they had a new raid coming out as well. And they were like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but like they changed it. I don't think they definitely didn't have the ability before. You're right. They took it seriously because of the new raid, but they didn't have the ability to do that before. They would have done that in the past, I feel like.
Yeah. So let's talk about these other weapons, though. I think there's one that you might be excited to talk about. I can't remember. You said something about it earlier in the podcast, but something about they called it a lance.
This is so lame, Lego. Graviton Lance is so good.
You know what's not lame?
Yeah, you know what? You're lame, Lego. You know what's not lame.
These wild blue no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, I can't believe.
No, Graviton Lance is awesome. Like it feels really amazing. It's made me put down Vigilance Wing. It sounds awesome. It looks awesome. When I shoot a guy and he's weak, his buddy comes around the corner, I finish him off and he blows up the guy next to him in Crucible. That feels so good. It doesn't happen very often.
And even if they don't kill the other one, like It
Yeah.
helps you, like, if it damages that next guy, it kind of puts you on even footing with, even if you're at the tail end of a fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Even if it's just a mental game with that guy, like, oh, he's hurt a little bit, he's gonna think twice about coming out. So
Yeah, I love it. And I think one of the things I really like about it, with it being a 2-round burst that's like really fast, it almost reminds me of like a hard-hitting scout rifle.
yeah,
The way it fires.
Absolutely.
And I've always really, like, it kind of reminds me of Jade Rabbit, to be honest.
Yes, and I love Jade Rabbit.
I've always been a fan of scout rifles in this game. Not because they were good, because that's the issue. They were never really, like, very rarely was a scout rifle your best choice. Except, you know, early D2 when everyone had a Mida. Other than that, I really liked scouts, but you never wanted to use one. So this is kind of like, it feels kind of like a scout, but just wrecks people.
Yeah, no, it really does. And I feel like it delivered on the promise that they showed, basically the promise of, hey, this is going to wipe out ads, like in PvE, whenever they showed off the clip of the change, and it was like him just trashing a whole
Well,
lot
it wasn't
of trash
in
mobs.
that clip though. He killed one person, like 7 people exploded.
I know there were multiple people there, but I feel like I've done that a couple of times. Like, it doesn't happen all the time, but I'll shoot into a trash mob and it'll hit them just right, and it's just a chain that goes off, and I clear all of them, and I'm like, well,
here's the thing though.
that's it.
Make sure you use it at long distance. Because
Oh,
you know
because
those,
you can blow up yourself.
yeah, those void things
Yes.
blow you up. Yeah.
I've definitely hurt myself a few. I haven't blown myself up yet, I don't
No,
think, but
me
I've
neither.
definitely hurt myself a lot.
Is it? I'm blanking here. Is it just precision kills or any kills that set
Any
off those?
kills.
Okay, I thought
which
so.
is awesome. It feels really good. Just like Sunshot. And Sunshot, speaking of,
Yeah.
those explosions are really big now too.
Do you know what you know what it reminds me of? Especially since now, like, if I kill guy A and he blows up and kills guy B, he'll blow up because he died from the explosion. And then if he blows up and kills someone else, he would blow. You know what I mean? If you die to the explosion, you blow up. They pretty much took combustion from Golden Gun and put it on Sunshot. That's not a complaint. Like, that's pretty much what combustion was. Because remember, you could use it in trials, and if you had people grouped up, you could shoot one guy and he'd blow up the one next to him, the one next to him, and kill everybody.
Yes, and you know what? I was having a lot of fun with that gun in PvE. I've said you know what a lot this episode. I don't know why.
You know what?
So the Sunshot, I got it to randomly drop for me again at like a higher level, light level, you know, whenever you have an exotic drop. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to run this for a while. And then I had one of the new new hand cannons drop for me. Do what?
I was just saying, I haven't gotten any of the new exotics yet.
Okay, so either it was a new gun from this DLC, or it was one of the Curse of Osiris ones that I finally am finishing from all the verses, because that drops at higher light level too.
I saw that. You were talking about that on Twitter.
Yeah, which is nice because I didn't know. I was just like, oh, hey, I finished this thing. I should probably go turn it in that way and collect more stuff. Finally finish it, and it dropped at like 350 something.
Do you think that's a bug?
I kind of do, because they said beforehand that wasn't going to happen.
They specifically said rewards for each DLC or iteration of Destiny were going to max out at that DLC's max light. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you have those things left for Curse of Osiris, get them done, because right now they're dropping at higher light level for you, and they may not later. But anyway, I'm using some hand cannon from either that or the new DLC. I can't remember. But it had the perk that when you stow it, cocoon, basically, like you stow it and it reloads for you. And so Sunshot has a super fast reload. So between the two of them, I was like, use my primary kinetic, you know, all the way down to 0, switch to Sunshot, just shoot everything I can, reload Sunshot, switch back to the primary and shoot that. Like, I was just going to town, and it was so much fun in PvE.
On that type of, man, our fucking segues are on point today. I don't even reload Lego because I've been using Sturm and Drang.
Oh, yeah. What's that like?
Here's my thing. I really, really need to use it more in PvE to get used to Sturm, because I tried using it in PvP. I'm just not good with Sturm. It feels very heavy, bulky.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like hand cannons I'm used to. I'm just not good with it. But Drang, I don't know if you remember, even when they just did the first weapon pass for just legendaries, I liked Drang a lot.
Right.
So Drang I really like. So in PvE, where people don't, you know, they don't actively try to not get shot. They just kind of look at you and shoot at you and hope you don't shoot them because they're aliens. But it's really good there because you can just kill as many, maybe small adds as you want with Drang, use up the whole magazine, switch to Sturm, you'll have multiple overcharged rounds.
Yeah.
Lay that into either some bigger, like if you have knights around or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Lay those double rounds, use as many of those as you want. As long as you kill one person throughout that clip, your Drang is now reloaded. You go back, take out a little trash mob, at least one person with Drang, move back over, you have an overcharged, you know what I mean? Like it's
that
really
sounds
good.
Pretty awesome. I want to ask, because I never used this combo. I used a lot of the other exotics, but I haven't used this one yet. How, if you just get one kill with the sidearm, does it reload the hand cannon completely and give it the extra round?
I didn't. I assumed that, the one would, first kill would reload it, next kill would be overcharged. And I didn't test it, but I swear there was a point where I killed one thing. And I had an overcharged round.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
That sounds right, honestly. That sounds like it would work that way, and that sounds really strong and really good in PvE. And,
well, if you can get it in PvP, it's great, because if you go into a close-up fight with someone and you kill them with the sidearm because you're right up on them, and then someone rolls around a corner, a precision shot with an overcharged round does 132.
Dang,
to a Guardian. So, I mean, if I can get Sturm to where I don't absolutely suck with it, that could be a really good combo. I really like it.
Oh, speaking of damages and exact numbers, if you watch Fallout's vid, he has one on some of the new exotics. I think particularly had one over Graviton Lance, and he talked about the damage numbers and everything. It's really good. It's, if you get 3 headshots, it's over 200, it's 213 or something like that total. And so that will kill any Guardian no matter what level armor they're running. And I thought, because I was getting lucky and killing a bunch of hunters with 3 taps, and I thought at first, I was maybe they're just low armor or something. But in Fallout's vid, he's any armor, doesn't matter, they're going down if you hit them all 3 in the head, which is real good. That's real good, because that's way faster than, I mean, Vigilance Wing, yeah, you can 2-tap someone if they're low armor and you get every bullet and a ton of them land on the head, then you'll get it. But it's really rare that happens. So most of the time it takes 3 shots with that, and 3 shots with Graviton is way faster than 3 shots with the time it normally kills with Vigilance Wing. So Graviton's a good gun. Another one that I got to use was Skyburner's Oath, which they showed off, and I haven't got to play it on a Warlock yet because it looked really fun with Kevin, floating around on the Warlock. But I wanted to try it out on my Titan because it's kind of similar, floating around, and it was really fun to use. I didn't find it to be the best in PvP, but I will say, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, if you struggle with acquiring, if you're just you like Destiny, you don't feel like you're that great at PvP, but you have a lot of fun in PvE. But when you go into PvP, you feel like you're not always 100% dead on with your shots. You should try Skyburner's Oath, because the missiles that it fires, I'm just gonna call them missiles because they're mini grenade missile things. When you hit fire it, it seeks within that reticle, and if your enemy isn't moving that fast, it hits almost all the shots. If they've got high mobility and they're going side to side, you're not going to hit anything, or you'll hit near them or something. But if you're coming up on somebody and they're not strafing, you'll nail all your shots, and it downs them pretty fast. So if you can hit if you can just get in the general area with your reticle, the bullets will do the work. And so it seems like a really fun gun if you're not trying to be super precise or you're floating around a lot and stuff like that. And it was fun to switch and use the scout rifle part of it, zoom in and get someone across the map. So it has versatility, and it's really useful up close if your aim isn't the best,
Now, I have a question for you, because I noticed this and didn't really look into it. They mentioned, that the projectiles, they lob and they track when you're hip firing. And then the way they said it is, and when you aim down sights, you shoot faster, more powerful ones.
I saw that. It's
What?
exactly the same as it used to be. And they said that on stream whenever I know it's not in the description, but it's not faster or whatever. When you zoom in, it's exactly the old,
Yeah.
like what it used to
No,
be.
I know. They were just saying faster than the hip fire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, faster.
Yeah. Like, or they go faster. No, they move faster.
I see.
Jesus. Anyway, my point was, I don't, is it hit scan? When it's a scout rifle, it doesn't seem to me like it's hit scan.
No.
They still have travel time.
Wait. No, it should be hit scan. I thought it was.
I swear there was a time where, like, I only used it briefly, but I swear it had travel time.
Okay, it didn't feel like it to me, but I only scoped in a few times with it. I was mainly hip firing it because that's like the new feature, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. It's cool. It's definitely more useful. But that's definitely more of a PvE type of thing.
Yeah, I haven't got to use tractor cannon yet, but I did get, you know, I don't know what the word, like bumped by it in PvP, and it suppressed me, and I was really thrown off for a second, but I still killed the guy, so I don't know, shame on him, I guess. But it was, I'm excited to try it on PvE more than anything, and we kept forgetting to put it on and level it up because we were going to use it in the Nightfall or something, but never got a chance to. But it looks really fun. I'm excited to try it out. Seems like other people are having fun with it. I just haven't. Yeah, I heard people were having fun knocking off other guys off cliffs and stuff, and you can't jump back up because you're suppressed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you just knock somebody off anything, they can't get back up. They just fall to their death. So that sounds pretty awesome.
Another gun that, for as much as I just raved about Graviton Lance, I think just as much.
What is it?
I didn't use it till today.
Is it Crimson?
Risk Runner is so good. Especially
I heard it's really good.
With this being Hive, a lot of Hive.
Yeah.
Thrall's melee attacks.
Oh, yeah.
They're arc based. Some of the knights throw arc projectiles, like the boomer type things. So like you just stand there, you let him hit you, and then you just shoot him. And like when that's active, you know, the lightning chains, it seems like your ammo never goes down. It just kind of, as long as you're like hitting them while that arc conductor's available. So you just keep shooting this knight in the head with not unlimited, but a very, very large replenishing magazine. And every time you're hitting this knight in the head and hurting him, it's chaining to all of the thralls or acolytes or whatever. And generally that's how the mobs work. You know, there's like a knight or two and then a bunch of little shit. Dude, it's so good. Risk Runner is so good.Use it. Try it.
You used it in PvP. Did you enjoy it there too, or did you notice a difference? Or
I haven't really gotten into SMGs at all in like I like them, but they were never part of like a main loadout for me. So I put it on for a minute and I didn't really have too much success with it, but I think that was more just a me and SMG thing than a Risk Runner thing. It's just something I have to get used to. But depending on the scenario, I mean, I could see it being useful if you're playing Arc Striders or Stormcallers or whatever. You know, anytime you get hit by one of their grenades or melees or whatever, it's going to also proc that perk too.
And it does half the damage to you too, right? Like Arc does half damage to you. So that
is it half? I know it says decrease, but I didn't know if they gave
I think it's half. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not, Fallout. I'm not quoting any stats here, but I think that's what I read.
Dude, it's just so satisfying. Like I said, you get hit, you see that perk proc, and then you're just laying into these people forever and just watching this lightning chain, and they're all dying. Kind of like using Sunshot.
Yeah. Well, speaking of SMGs, it's, Fallout mentioned this in his video of Graviton Lance, but the big problem with Vigilance Wing for me was I ran Antiope, the SMG, all the time before Vigilance Wing came out. And then I had to figure out a different sidearm or SMG I liked in the energy slot. Well, now with Graviton, I have a great exotic to use either in kinetic or energy now with Graviton. And so now that I'm running Graviton, it lets me run Antiope again. And so I have two great powerhouse weapons that cover anything from close to basically long range between the two. So that feels really good. There was some other exotics too. Oh, before I get to any of that, you mentioned the I can't even talk. The thrall hitting you with the arc energy. That reminded me of the new heroic strikes that have modifiers on them. Have you played these strikes yet?
I haven't, no.
Because the one this week is the brawler one, where if you get, or that's not what they called it, the one with no radar, but the enemies who hit you do 20 times more damage to you.
I thought that rotates daily.
Maybe it does. Okay, maybe it's daily. But the first day that it was out, it was that one. And I didn't realize it at first. And I was like, oh, I don't have a radar. And then one of the thralls came up and hit me immediately. And I was like, what the heck? It was the map was, what's the hive one? Where it's the giant thing shooting, the giant purple orb shooting all those things at you.
Oh. I know.
Crystal one.
I'm not good with names of the strikes.
Yeah. Okay, so the crystal one, Sabathon strike. That one, the thralls are everywhere, and there's no radar, and so you're just running around the map the whole time. It made it really fun. Like, yeah, 20 times damage is way too much because we had a revive train going. Where like he revived me, then the thrall killed him, then that guy revived me, and then the thrall killed me. Like as soon as you get revived, you would die, and it was crazy, but it was really fun. We ended up making it through, and we made it through a lot of them, but. The heroic strikes are hard. They make you play differently based off of the modifier, and I just think it's really fun. I'm glad they finally added that. And there's
I think it's cool that if I'm not mistaken, I believe the burn on it is weekly. The advantage and disadvantages are daily. So each day you're gonna have a different combination.
Okay.
So that's what.
That's helpful too, because I like that because the burn. I put on solar because it was solar this week, and I put on solar elemental stuff to get my light level higher because you have to be like the light level is 350 to do a heroic strike, and it's like really difficult if you're not. Yeah, and so it was so difficult. I was like, I want to have my highest stuff, so I had to use those legendary mods, and so I used my solar legendary mods on my energy and power because I wanted all solar and I wanted it to be the highest light level it could be.
Should use hard light.
I should use hard. No, I shouldn't, because I was really liking graviton light. Or what was I using? Because it's not. Oh, sunshot. I was using sunshot, and it was really fun. There was another exotic I was gonna get to.
Crimson.
Yeah. What do you feel about Crimson? Did you use it?
I haven't used it yet. Papa Bear was raving about it today.
Yeah, Papa Bear really likes it.
Bagu in chat said he really likes it.
Okay, so I'm on the edge with it. Like it feels fun. It feels really good in PvE because you're always getting your health back and you're getting free ammo whenever you get a headshot. It refills your magazine and you get your health back. So it feels really good fighting mobs. But in PvP, I just don't see Fallout talked about it a little bit. There's not really an advantage against a normal hand cannon. Like, why not just get your headshots with a normal hand cannon and be precise, whereas you're shooting a burst with this thing and it's like you might hit some, you might lose some. That said, it is really nice to get your health back on a kill and be able to engage the next person right away. But there are some exotics that help almost more with that, or like Warlock can use Devour, or now Hunters have an exotic. If you completed the story mission on your Hunter, you know this, but Hunters get an exotic that lets you dodge and start healing immediately, which I played some people in Rumble that were using that, and it was very difficult to counter. Like, I didn't know what was going on because I hadn't finished the story yet, and I was playing some guy, and he kept dodging, and his health would be back, and I was like, what's happening? I don't understand. Then I finished the story, and I was like, okay. He had that thing.
Well, the one thing, you're totally right with Crimson. And they addressed that. They said that one was really difficult for them because, if you go too much in one direction, you just have a hand cannon. If you go too much in the other direction, it's a pulse rifle. And I do think that's one of the Masterworks that we know what it does. And I do think getting it Masterworks will help set it apart a little bit because it puts the range stat all the way at max.
Yeah, that would help.
So then it kind of just becomes Red Death again. Like
that's it. Okay, that's what Papa said. He was like, why don't we just have Red Death? Like, I mean, it's cool they tried to make a hand cannon pulse, but it just doesn't really work, right? Like, why not just make it a pulse and it would work. It'd be good at range and it'd be helpful to get your health back.
I think that'll set it apart on the hand cannon side, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a good point.
We'll see. I think the Masterworks will help, and they know that it's difficult, and they said they worked on it. But here's my thing though. Papa Bear's saying, why don't they just have Red Death? Papa Bear's also the one raving like a lunatic about how good Crimson is. So,
that's true.
to be fair.
Okay, I got one last exotic to talk about.
I mean, there's the same one I wanted to talk about.
What is it?
You go first.
No, you go first, because mine's gonna transition us. So.
No.
Nope, you got to.
Can't.
What is it?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
No, you have to say it.
I'm not doing it.
Okay, I'm gonna say mine, but then you're ruining the transition.
Okay.
Okay. So mine is the business, getting down to business.
Oh,
business.
Fine. Huckleberry.
Oh, you got it? Did you get it?
No, I didn't get it.
Oh.
But I keep hearing it's really good, and I wanted to give a little shout out. Did you see who had their hands all over making that gun?
No. Who?
Mr. Tux himself.
Oh, nice.
One of the guys, I forget which dev it was, Hamrick or one of the Sandbox guys, someone tweeted to him, like, who do I have to thank for this? This gun is great. And he tagged Tux and was like, this is my man Tux, our Sandbox brother from another mother.
Oh, so, that's good.
Yeah. Apparently, like I said, I haven't gotten it, but gameplay
Chibi Kim got it.
Yeah, and ornaments. I got the ornament for it, but everyone really likes that ornament. So it's a very popular one right off the bat. So GG to clanmate and hopefully near future podcast guest Tux.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I am really excited to get my hands on that submachine gun. There was the exotic sword that you get from the quest. Suros is out too now. I don't have my hands on it. But the exotic sword, there is I don't know, there's some weird stuff about it, like maybe somebody else has it mastered already, but Spiffy was using it and he loved it at first, and then he was like, I don't understand, I can't ever get it. I teleport or I do my swing, and he couldn't. Like, apparently it has more, it's a little more in depth than a normal sword, but it doesn't have the swift speed of like Quick Fang, so he's a little disappointed. That's the only feedback I've heard so far. But I'm excited to get my hands on all that stuff. It all sounds good. But sweet business, got to get down to the sweet business. It feels really great since they added a ginormous magazine to it, especially running the war rig on a Titan and getting I can just unload and it just goes forever, it feels like, which is super great because we played some before I played private matches, there was a Rumble game that I lost 2 Rumble games in a row. Just like right off the bat, I was like, man, what is going on? I can't do anything. I was like, oh yeah, they changed sweet business. Let me try that out. And then I won that Rumble game. I just like had it revved up the whole time, just like swinging it around corners and just annoying the crap out of people trying to use their Graviton Lance, and they couldn't hit their shots because all my bullets are flying into them. And then I brought it into private matches after Hov complained about my fusion rifling for long enough. I was like, let's just bring out this and see how
wait. We're all going in there. Spiffy's like trying to figure out how to teleport. We're all like running ridiculous weapons. And there's Lego with the fusion rifle that he always uses, getting all the power ammo and crouching around corners and killing everybody. And we were like,
that's how you play the game.
But Lego, that's why we were in private matches.
Okay.
So we were just trying to have some fun.
And so what happened after I said, okay, I'm not going to use that fusion rifle anymore? Who started killing everyone with fusion rifles?
That's not my thing. That's your thing.
No, that is totally your thing. You talk about that fusion rifle.
Yeah, because I have to keep up with you and your stupid fusion rifle.
Okay, I see how it is. I'll let the audience decide for themselves on that one.
Last time you did this, they all branded you a cheater in private matches.
They did.
Do you remember that?
Yes, they did. We won't go into those D1 perks. But no, private matches are a ton of fun right now too. Sweet business was a ton of fun, but it was really fun to get. We had 7 people playing Rumble at one point.
We got up to 7 for the last game.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get a game of 8 in there soon. It was really fun, just goofing around. Marcus had some ridiculous linear fusion rifle shots on me. I think it might have been after you left, but he just like. It felt like he was hip shotting me with it, and it was a headshot every time. I was like, what is happening? But that was just really fun, messing around with your friends, being able to have private matches again. Getting to know the maps in private matches was really nice instead of just like running into comp or waiting to get them in the normal playlist, like fingers crossed, hopefully we play that new map and get to know it. Like you can go into private matches and learn it yourself. That was really helpful too.
Speaking of new maps, and I want to say it's actually an Osiris map, but because I never used the Osiris playlist, I never played it. Wormhaven, I really like that map.
Yeah, it was fun.
It has like 3 full levels almost. Like I had one point where I was super absolute on the top level, so I kind of like dropped off to the right, ran through like a tunnel to the left, dropped down again, like to get away instead of just running.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like that map. It's kind of got some, I feel like that would be a good TV map. There's lots of vertical space.
Well, that's what we talked about this as a pro to when they announced like, hey, all the DLC maps are now included in the main playlist. And that's because we never even got to play any of them. We didn't have private matches. We couldn't select them. We didn't want to go into the DLC only playlist because it wasn't as populated. And now we're playing, like we went into comp. I'm playing with a team that's really good, and we spawn in, and all of us were like, we've never played this map before. And someone was like, this is a Curse of Osiris map. And I was like, I didn't know. I never played it.
Yeah, I think like almost every map we played last night, you and I were like, oh, a new map. And everybody else is like, this was from the last DLC. And we were like, oh.
Like, we wouldn't know.
No.
Well, yeah, it feels like I got 2 expansions worth of Crucible maps, so that's awesome. Even though I paid for all of them, finally getting to play them.
Yeah, I mean, that's on us, to be fair.
Yeah, kind of. Well, did you have anything else to go over? I think that's pretty much it. We got.
I mean, we could still talk forever, but
we could. But we have talked for a very long time about a lot of this stuff. The way I just said a very long time reminded me of Rocket. Where it was like, I would very much like to go there, to the place that makes all the weapons.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, never mind.
Do you know the name of the place that makes all the weapons?
It's not nowhere. That's not a real word. Whatever that place is.
Yeah, I don't remember how to say it either. Deadpool 2 next week.
Yeah. Is that next week? Next week? Are you serious?
The 18th, right?
Wow, that's really soon. I feel like I need to watch Avengers 3 one more time before I get to that.
Avengers 3?
You can call it that.
I mean...
Some people do. All the movie reviews I listen to call it that.
Well, they're wrong. I will be here next week.
And I will be here next week.
Well, I was supposed to be going to Vegas.
Oh, what happened? Well, never mind.
No.
You can tell me that story later.
No, just some things came up. I am needed to stay in the area, so I will be here next week. Aren't you all so fucking happy?
I thought you were going to go into like, well, I will be here next week. My name is Hov76. You can find me.
I wouldn't steal your thunder like that, Lego.
No, please do. I gave you permission earlier, so.
That was just to interrupt you.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, in that case, this has been Lego.
Don't you have things to say first?
I definitely don't. I don't have any words. I don't have... What are you talking about?
Before we leave, I don't like when you where you fit this in, Lego.
Okay. So, this podcast is sponsored by Blue Microphones. Is that where you're going with this?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
We should be doing that earlier.
Okay, we'll do it at the beginning of the
episode.
episode.
Tell them, like, look at these great... So that the whole episode, everyone can look like, wow, that blue mic is super nice. And so are those blue headphones.
Well, here's the deal. These blue mics are really nice, and these, like, dude, these mics right here, if you want, like, a studio quality, like, really good mics, the ones we're using now that are these, like, really slick black ones are... Like, they sound really good. I was doing some tests between, like, some other microphones I had, and this one just sounded so freaking good that I wanted to use it for everything, and I, like, kind of want to get another one.
You're kind of the... Well, Lego, if you were going to get another one, how would you go about doing that?
I think I'd use code RezoCast on bluemics.com.
For 20% off.
20% off.
And
it's a good deal.
You, too, can do that same thing.
You rhymed.
And we don't get anything. We're not doing this because we get anything else from it.
We really
want
aren't.
We want you to save money. No, but seriously, the Yeti is kind of widely known. Like, in all honesty, if you search like best USB mic or best podcast mic, all the results list a Yeti somewhere, the Blue
Yeah.
Yeti. And that's what we were all using when we started this podcast. And, you know, I'm not the audio guy. Lego is the big audio guy who knows all this stuff. And I remember you said, like, immediately, like, there was a noticeable improvement in quality when we all switched over to the Spark. So
huge. And not only that, but it's the Yeti itself is pretty versatile. Like even if you want to do like a roundtable discussion, like, and you want to record it to YouTube or whatever, a podcast or anything, like just get a Yeti, and it has a setting for like the omnidirectional thing. Put it in the middle of your table, record a podcast. I've done it before for a different podcast. Like, you can do it. So yeah, check out their stuff, man. It's really good.
And the headphones.
And the headphones are really good. You can... Oh, I'm not going to say it. I was going to go straight to RezoCast there, or like Team Resolute and stuff. But since Hov made me do this beforehand, it's like throwing me all off, and I don't know where to go from here.
Well, we should be doing it like, hey, welcome to RezoCast, sponsored by Blue Mics and Headphones. Check these bitches out.
Okay, I'll let you do that, and you can say that exact same thing. I'm actually going to use that as an intro for this episode.
Oh, God.
So.
Don't do that.
Okay, we've had enough fun here. This has been Lego, aka Lego Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, at Lego LE Flash, handing out those light level tips on Twitter. That's about it, though. No clips recently. Just light level tips.
I am a little bit disappointed in myself that I forgot to tell everyone that, you know, you're a little shy about it, but you would like to, from now on, just be known as Lee Flash.
Spelled
Leigh specifically. So I'm just gonna call you Lee from here on out. So
thanks, Hov.
You're welcome.
I'll come up with a nickname for you soon.
What did we call you during when we were playing with Talk to Them? It was like Lego Lee Sackmaster Flash Dongblade the Destroyer or something. I don't know. The Eater, the Destroyer. What did they call in Ghostbusters?
I don't know, Hov, but what do they call you, and where can they find you?
Ooh, man, segues on point. Even from anyway, I'm Hov, Hov76, HOV76. You find me on Twitter, here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Hov76, Hov76 everywhere. Yeah.
Triton, where can they... No, I'm just kidding.
And if no one's noticed by now, Triton and Mana are not here.
You can find Team Resolute at Team Resolute on Twitter, not .com right now, but you can find RezoCast, our podcast, at RezoCast on Twitter. You can leave us a review on iTunes if you enjoyed the episode. And yeah, I think that's it. Hov, you got anything else?
Do you really want an answer to that?
Nope. Okay.
All right.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Until next time. GG.